Okay, so maybe you need to undo a clamp. This is called OET care clamp for the CB boot. You will find this also on the Gator or Dust boot on the steering rack boots. So this one comes from a Volvo, and this one is really stiff one. It's very stiff metal. So normally I will just use these kind of pliers. It's I think it's an angle or oblique pliers, but you really need to get a good quality one because we are going to use the tip to open the clamp, and the tip will just break on cheaper pliers. This is quality one. Let's try it from side. Just insert it with the tip and twist it again. It takes good pliers, quality ones. You notice how I insert the plier to slide in there. I don't want to force too much not to break the tip of the pliers. So this is kind of a cutter. Just work like this from both sides until you just split it a little bit open. Not broken. Again, this is a genuine clamp, and the genuine ones are really stiff, very hard to work with them. I don't know if it's possible to cut it because you're going to damage the boot. About reusing this clamp is not the best idea because you'll need a plier to just press it down in place. We'll see this in a few minutes. Let me just work this one. If you want to reuse the boot, careful not to damage it at this point. Alright, I think it's pretty much it. And now notice it's kind of open now. It's no more the Omega from the beginning, and you just can release it. It has those small tabs in there. Alright, again, being a very stiff one, I'll show you an aftermarket one. You see the difference? Let me see if I get that one. This might not be the best one aftermarket. Be aware there are kind of Chinese ones that are really not strong enough. This one doesn't seem strong enough to me. I didn't get one of the better ones, but you notice the difference between the genuine. This is a Volvo one and this is aftermarket part. Okay, this one is really tough to tight back. I got these pliers. You got them $10 off eBay, I guess. And the way they work is that both they are just hooking on the side, and also the center piece will just press against the clamp to close it. That's how pretty much it works. Again, this is a very cheap one, $10. You have better quality ones, but even then I will just say forget about clamping this one down unless you have a very strong tool. The genuine one is absolutely impossible to clamp down, but the aftermarket ones will work with this cheap tool. So I'm going to put this one back in place, and some people will just try to use these cutters, straight cutters. Actually, this cutter will just crush the sides but will not crush down on the clamp like it was before. Let's just give it a try. Also, you can use this oblique or angle cutters to crush it from the sides, just like that, a little bit. And I can tell you that once I put this genuine OET clamp in place, back in place, I did actually crushed it like this on the sides, not like that, but just on the sides, of both sides. I did crushed it until it stayed kind of tight, because this one metal is really stiff. Notice I have to force to bend it. It's crazy. It's really high quality, while this one is very easy to bend. So let's just try to put this one in place again. I'd say just if you are in the junkyard, it's very easy to find aftermarket ones that are very easy to work with. It's very reusable, it's no problem, they won't break. Let's just try to put this one in place. So again, it has to be opened with the cutters enough wide to be able to grab the small hooks. So let's just pull a little bit on it, just enough. It's got this hook, and now I'm going to use the cheap Chinese pliers. You notice I kind of did modify this one. I did kind of shave it a little bit to be more like sharp here, because it wasn't sharp, it wasn't really grabbing enough the clamp. It won't break the clamp because it's sharper, but it's going to work better. All right, let's put this one like this. Usually what I will do is I will press this thing back and then grab. Then you just film this on another car. So I put a clamp back in place, the hooks are attached, and I'm going to crush it. And you notice how it's going to crush it downwards as well, a little bit. This is what the clamp does. So basically it just got the thing to get crushed and lower, and this will just keep this angle there and just prevent the clamp from loosening. If you just crush it with a cutter, the cutter will just grab it like this, and yes, it's going to bring it together, but it's not going to crush down this portion here. It's going to keep it round, and it's not very secure. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes not okay, but keep in mind these clamps really need to stay tight in there, not allow the water to go in there. And these clamps again go on this boot, on the steering rack, especially the larger section of the boot right at the end here. Now some people just try to use not here but on the rack zip ties, plastic ones. They are really not tight enough and they may just allow water or humidity inside, so it's not the best choice. Then other people want to use these worm ties, worm clamps. And you notice how this worm one is just flat in there. This one from the hardware will just loosen in time. It just doesn't stay tight in there, so this is really not safe or secure. There's a different type of worm clamp, the round one, like this one here. Notice how it's round here, and this one has a better chance to stay in place actually. Notice the difference between them. This is better, but I won't put this this kind of clamp, I will not put it on the CV joint. Maybe if you want to take a chance to put it on a steering rack, again, these things may just loosen with vibrations and with time and not be tight enough. So the best is really to reuse the Oetiker clamps. Get a used one from the junkyard that's not genuine, because the genuine are really hard to work with, but it's good aftermarket quality. Use it here, use it on the steering rack boot, and you are good to go. And again, this one off eBay, $10, will work just fine.